What's going on, everybody? This is the MMA Tirade. My topic today is the upcoming Women's Bantamweight Championship fight between the champion, Amanda Nunes, and the challenger, Holly Holm. This fight is exciting and intriguing for a number of reasons. The first reason for me is that this used to be Holly Holm's belt. She was the second GOAT after she beat Ronda Rousey. We all know at the time Ronda Rousey was like invincible. No one had beaten her. She was undefeated. She wasn't going nowhere at the time until Holm shocked the world. And she became the GOAT after that. And right after that fight, she had a title fight. Her first title defense was against Miesha Tate. And, when they matched it up, I was like, ooh, this is a first tough title defense for her. Because, she just whooped on Ronda Rousey. And, everyone thought, Rousey might just sub her because, Holm comes from boxing and kickboxing. And she's more of a striker. And she's new to MMA, especially at the time. But we all know what happened in that fight. Ronda got real cocky with her fucking hands, and I'm not gonna lie, I believed it too. I mean, she looked good. She was knocking out all kinds of women, and I was like, man, her boxing's getting on point. Not that her actual boxing was on point. Her MMA boxing, she was knocking girls out with her hands, but she got too confident, and their camp got too confident. I remember Ronda Rousey's head coach, that Armenian guy, he was saying, in an interview, I remember him saying, or an article, something along the lines of like, yeah, she spars pro male boxers in sparring and drops them with body shots. And I'm like, get the fuck up out of here. There's no fucking way. I don't believe it. Yeah, maybe some fucking amateur dude boxers. I don't fucking know, but there's no fucking way. Anyway, shit like that was being said, and they came into that fight, and just the way Rousey fought that fight, she was coming in like a bat out of hell with her fucking hands, and yeah, she was in over her head with Holm, and Holm just made work of it. But going into the Tate fight for her first defense, I thought that was man. I was like, everyone's on her nuts right now. I was like, she just knocked out Rousey. You know how people are. They're bandwagon. Oh, she's the best. No one's gonna beat her. Well, I actually went to Vegas that weekend, State Line Vegas. I put money down on Miesha Tate to win that fight. The whole fight, I was pretty sure I was going to lose all my money because the way Holm fought that fight. She fought that fight perfect as you could until you got subbed. We all know what happened. She got subbed in the 5th round by Tate, and Tate became champ. Especially after losing to Rousey twice. Tate finally became champ. We never thought she would be. Especially, well, I did because I bet money on her. But other people were all on Holmes' nuts. I was like, Rousey was a very good submission artist. I think Tate was the better grappler, but didn't have as, Ronda's armbar was sick. It's still sick. And, you have to be careful with that, especially when you got 13 first-round finishes, wherever the fuck it was she had, of arm bars and shit. It doesn't matter. When you got that many consecutive armbar finishes, your armbar is on point. And, really, Tate's game plan that whole fight with the 2 fights with Rousey should have been stay the fuck away from the ground and the armbar with her, until she gets tired. But anyway, that's besides the point. We're on Holm and Nunes here. Where I was getting at with Holly Holm, she lost the title fight to Tate, and ever since then she's had a rough patch. She's had a real hard time getting back, and she's been fighting the best in the world, and she's made it back to this point to fight for the bantamweight title, the title that she lost. And I'm just, man, this is such a good fight. I think we're in for one of the best women championship fights of all time. There's been a lot of good ones, but I think this one might top them. I think, especially where Nunes is at right now, she's on fucking fire. Holm has worked her ass. She's worked her ass back to this point. The Cyborg fight she had. Cyborg handled her that fight, but she took a beating for 5 rounds and hung in there. I don't think Holm got dropped. She got close to getting dropped. I don't think she got dropped in that fight, from what I recall. But yeah. That Cyborg fight really showed her toughness and her grit, and she wants that fight. She really wants that fight. And from a technical standpoint, where I think things went wrong for Holly Holm in the Cyborg fight was, I felt like she kept having the same entries to strike with Cyborg. And what I mean by entries, like the way she closed the distance to try and strike with Cyborg, she just kept getting caught coming in. And the whole fight, it just seemed like she had the same entries. They were from different angles, but it was like the same entries, it seemed like to me, and like the same combos almost. And I think Cyborg just knew what the deal was, and she was just going to sit back and crack her as she was coming in, and that's what was going on pretty much that whole fight. You know, Holm landed some good shots, and she survived, and it was a good fight. But you could just tell who was winning the fight watching the fight. I mean, Holm was getting kind of battered, but not battered, but she was definitely losing. That's what I think went wrong with Cyborg with Holly Holm in that Cyborg fight. I don't see her making that same mistake again. I know. Ever since she's lost that fight, she's been very, very motivated to get back, and she looked good in her last fight against Megan Anderson. I mean, she fought that fight the way I thought you're supposed to fight that fight with Megan Anderson. I mean, Megan Anderson's either Muay Thai, kickboxing fighter. I'm sure she was Muay Thai, kickboxing, some type of champ like that. She's got a good striking game. Megan Anderson, she's a striker. This was like I think it was her first fight in the UFC. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah, Holly Holm fought that fight. She didn't try and strike with her. She mixed it up. She fought like an MMA fighter, and that's what she's gonna have to do in this fight with Nunes. Don't just try and strike with Nunes. I mean, even though you were on the same level as far as like striking pedigree, I say the best way for both these fighters to win, both of them, you got to mix it up. And if they both mix it up, we're in for a great fight. And if they both mix it up, you're going to see who's better, I believe. And you're going to see where their holes are at. And I think that's what we'll see. I think we're in for a great fight. But, yeah, I mean, as far as Nunes go, I mean, she's on fire right now with her striking. She's on point. She's tough. She's gritty. She's technical. She's tactical. She's composed. I mean, that fight with Cyborg, she stayed composed, especially after she hit Cyborg with a mean-ass leg kick, and Cyborg could not help herself. Being straight Cyborg. And when Cyborg was throwing hell at her, Nunes stayed composed. She even took some licks too and stayed composed and fucking knocked her ass out first round. Crazy. No one fucking does that to Cyborg. As far as the grappling goes, I think Holly Holm is making the adjustments. I know she's doing jiu-jitsu, like straight jiu-jitsu. She's doing grappling. She's wrestling. She's at a great gym in Jackson Winklejohn in Albuquerque. Nunes is at an ATT, and that's another intriguing thing about this fight too. I mean, both these women are coming. These are two of the best women fighters in the world, and they're both coming from some of the best and most storied MMA gyms in MMA. I mean, you got Amanda Nunes is fighting at ATT, one of the top gyms in the world, really in the whole world, top gym. And same thing with Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn. That's, if not the best gym in the world. I mean, as far as history goes, I'd have to say Greg Jackson because of the champions and people they've produced out of that gym. But I mean, ATT's up there too. Do not get me wrong. I mean, especially now, this day and age, I think ATT's taken the. I think they're the new shit in town, but Greg Jackson's still up there with them, so that's another exciting, intriguing aspect of this fight is the coaching too. I mean, Nunes is gonna have Mike Brown in her corner. We all, if you're a real MMA fan, you know who Mike Brown is. Old school MMA, fought WEC. He was like one of the first guys to beat Uriah Faber, I think. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. He's in Nunes' corner. And then you got, of course, Greg Jackson and Mike Winklejohn, and Mike Winklejohn has been with Holly Holm, I think, ever since she started kickboxing. I think he was her boxing coach, too, or something like that. I'm not too sure. Probably not exclusively, but I know they've been working together for a very long time. And, if this fight does go the 5 rounds, I mean, one thing I like about MMA, too, is, like, the corner, how the corners handle their fighters and what advice they give them. And every time, Greg Jackson in the corner, he is just a master. He knows how to calm his fighter down. He knows what to tell his fighters. I think he only works with fighters that are very, they have a good relationship, obviously. On a side note, the Pico fight, Greg Jackson gave all the right advice, and Pico was fighting the way he was supposed to fight that fight, and he just got caught. But that's Bellator's fault. They're throwing him to the wolves, and they're making him out to be better than he is right now. I'm not saying he can't be that good, but he's a great fighter, but they're not building him up the way I think they should. Anyway, this is about Amanda Nunes and Holly Holm, so let's get back to that. Head to head, head like I said, I don't see anyone getting knocked the fuck out real quick. I could see someone getting stopped for sure. I could see either one of them getting stopped, and that's one thing here. Like, I don't think Holly Holm has been stopped in her MMA career. I know she's been stopped in boxing. I saw some highlights, and but MMA, I can't remember her getting stopped. I can't remember her getting dropped either. She got close in the Cyborg fight, but she's tough as they come, and I think all of this striking experience is gonna come to fruition against Nunes. But like I said, Nunes is on fire, man. I don't know. I'm not trying to make a pick either. I'm laying out the facts on like how great this fight could be and how it probably should be and will be. So we'll see with that. And just on a side note, Amanda Nunes has 4 losses in MMA, and 2 of them are very notable. The other 2 I looked up, you don't really know who these girls are, but the 2 notable ones are Alexis Davis, who's pretty old school, and she was a tough girl at the time. I mean, I think she's towards the end of her career now, but and then Kat Zingano. Kat Zingano stopped her too. Both TKOs. And I think that's back when Nunes had cardio issues, whatever that was. But I think I don't know. I don't think she's had cardio issues ever since the first Shevchenko fight, and I think ever since then she's fixed those issues. So yeah, but we're in for a great fight, guys, and I'm excited. And this fight ain't gonna be picnic for either of them. I mean, both these women are bona fide strikers. They're both coming in. It's cliche and it sounds dumb and it's like, what? Yeah, obviously, but it's like this fight is gonna come down to who really wants it more, and you're gonna find out who really wants it more in the middle of the fight. You're gonna see someone get hurt, and it's like, how are they gonna respond to this? I think Holm wants it more. I think Holm has a lot more to prove. I think she wants her belt back. I think she wants to be the best woman fighter of all time. I think ever since the Cyborg loss, I think she's made the right adjustments to become what she wants to be. And if Holly Holm wins this fight, there's unlimited options for her, and the ball's in her court. And she's gonna have to fight Nunes again. If she beats Nunes, she will fight Nunes again. They're gonna make that happen. And then who knows? I mean, since Nunes has 2 belts, who knows what the fuck they'll do? I mean, it's crazy at this point. But I'm excited for the fight. I hope you guys are too. I can't wait. I'll be doing a podcast on mostly all the big upcoming fights, the notable fights, not the whole cards, but stuff like that. But anyway, that's all I got for today. I'll do a post-fight analysis or whatever on this, and yeah, we'll go from there. But thanks for tuning in. Later.